Hello and welcome to Oblivion Corner. Today it's going to be a mix of photography and modular synthesizers. Let's go. Observe as the photographer is poised as he photographs the Octatrack from a dramatic angle. And now we catch the photographer's bold spot. A rare moment indeed. Shooting with a Canon EOS 30D and a 50mm f1.8. Moving over to the teenage engineering OP1 now, and its tasty buttons. The OP1 is actually responsible for the higher pitched jangly melody you're hearing in the background. And now, the modular synth responsible for the thick analog bass line that's underpinning everything here. And you're now going to see a time-lapse of the modular patching process. The module selection here follows the idea that this is the Analog 4's fifth voice. The Analog 4 is actually above the RME UFX audio interface. I should have angled the camera upwards, that's a user error on my part. Anyways, the Analog 4 is doing all the sequencing for the modular. Fun times. Let's check out the modules in my system from left to right. The TipTop Z3000 Oscillator is all the way to the left there. Then, there's the Steady State Fate WMD Ultrafold. I love this module, and I'm running the next module through it. So the third module in line to the throne is the Eowave Titan Oscillator, which is going into the lovely SSF WMD Wavefolder in position 2. Next up, in fourth place, is the Busy Circuits ALM 08X2. Probably the most boring module in the ALM lineup. It's a dual Attenuverter, which helps moderate certain control voltages that don't have attenuation at the destination. In lucky fifth place is another boring module, this time a powered utility module, the Mutable Instruments Links. The top 4 patch points makes 3 copies of 1 signal. The second set of 4 patch points sums 2 inputs and sends the identical mix signal to the 2 lower patch points. The final set of 4 patch points are a 3-to-1 mixer where each input gets attenuated by a third and then sent to the output. To be completely honest, I mainly use the top part to duplicate CV signals, very occasionally the middle part. Next up, in 6th place, another Eowave module. It's the Zone Basse Fréquences, basically 2 digital LFOs with a ton of wave shapes and sync inputs. I tend to send this to the ALM Attenuverter quite often. Next up we have a wideboy module. In position 7 is the original Intellijel Quadra, which affords 4 envelopes. Granted, they are attack decay or attack hold release or an envelope loop, but it's perfect to liven up a lot of stuff, and I think there's a jumper in the back that can turn the controls into 2 ADSR envelopes, but I might be dreaming about that. The next big module in 8th place, with the lovely ergonomics as my filter, the Toppobrillo Multifilter, which sadly is discontinued. It's a state variable design based around an SSM chip. Love its sound. The 9th module is a 2HP Meng key DLPG, which is basically 2 Vactrol-based low-pass gates / VCAs. So basically you feed it a voltage trigger or gate, and it filters and applies an envelope to the incoming audio signal based on how the Vactrol reacts. This means that it's an unpowered module, even though it's acting as a VCA. Each low-pass gate is tuned slightly differently, meaning that one has a bit of a longer decay than the other, and also some tonal differences. The 10th module is the first gen Make Noise Mod Demix, where you basically can't plug in anything wrong. It's a dual VCA, but you can basically plug in the audio signal where the CV is supposed to go and vice versa. It sums and modulates the signals against each other, so it does a lot more than just, it's a lot more than just a VCA. Now, last but not least, in 11th place is the SSF Mixmode with its expander. It's a 4-channel mixer with a saturation control. And then finally, you have the power module that's powering the whole thing. So this whole video has been shot with the Fuji X-T4 and the 23mm f2 Fujinon lens. And here's a couple of things that I learned. The auto white balance is cool for photos, but for video you get these random shifts in tonality. So in the future I think I'm going to set a white balance and stick with it. And then the second thing is that the AFC, which is what Fuji calls continuous autofocus, is not great if I'm mainly focusing on one piece of gear and my arms are basically getting in the way of the focus point. As you saw in the beginning, I think it'll go out of focus distractingly, so it's much better to either do manual focus or AFS, which sets basically the camera to a specific focus, and then it doesn't respond to anything that happens. And the final shots here are just some random shots that I took while I was out and about as the city where I live reopens. Once more, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing as well. So stay safe, and until next time, have a good one.